I'm Owen Big Glen. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, over the last 12 years I've been doing this blog, we've been in many kind of what I call run-of-the-mill corrections where the prices level off, stay flat, go down 5, 10, 15%. I call them the run-of-the-mill Vancouver corrections. They happen at least once a year or twice a year, pretty much on average in the equity markets. The S&P 500, you're getting these corrections fairly typical, are very common and should be expected. But I've done this type of blog, probably this will be about my third or fourth one over the last 10 or 11 years here. And it's about timing the market. Even though I'm not a believer in timing the market, I advise you don't do that. If you're looking to buy a home or saving for the down payment, see it through. Hey, you might get a better price on it. You might not get into a bidding war. I'd see it through. But at the same time, especially now, interest rates are going to continue to go up here for a while. Every interest rate hike we get generally is a cold bucket of water on the market. We haven't seen too much as far as pricing on condos coming off yet, especially the one beds, because inventory has been low. As a matter of fact, I'm still seeing some bidding wars on some good quality one beds here. What has been hit more has been the detached market, $2 million, $3 million homes, and then of course the luxury condo market. A lot more inventory in that market, and sales have not been coming through. Inventory's going up, prices have been coming off. So it's understandable that people want to wait for a better opportunity. They're going to sit on the sidelines and it's going to be a waiting game. And that's totally fine. I mean, as I said in my other videos on this, if that's what you want to do, go right ahead. And even one step better, I wish you luck with it. I hope it works out for you. But there's a few things that I want you to keep in mind if you go back on some of my other blogs on trying to time a market. A couple of things you want to be aware of. A, you want to set a strike price. Otherwise, you could be on the sidelines for years and years and years. It's never that magical time to buy. So, in other words, if you're looking at a condo that's $850 right now, and you should set a strike price. In other words, if it gets down to $799 or $775 or whatever, you're going to buy. That, and you also want to set a time limit on it. 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. If that time elapses and you still haven't bought, you might want to wait into the market. Because the other thing too, of course, every time we get an interest rate hike, for sure, that should start to cool the market and bring prices down. However, you're also making up, though, your overall costs are going up with the borrowing costs. So you've got to do the math on that. If the prices drop 5%, but your financing is increased by 8 or 9%, then it's almost a wash there. So keep that in mind. Interest rates going up should lower the pricing on the purchase price, but your borrowing costs are going up as well. The other thing is I want to point out, I had a guy on my YouTube blog, and I see this a lot here. These guys, their egos are huge on a lot of these guys. They all act like they're, real estate barons and own all kinds of real estate and everything else. Most of them are renters. They've been on the sidelines for many, many years. And if you dig a little deeper, which you can't, most of them don't have the spare $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 down payment, because that's what you need. If you want to buy a condo in Yaletown for $800,000, you're going to need $150,000, $175,000 down, 20 to 25% conventional mortgage. So they seldom have that. They're just complaining. But, I had a guy here, YouTuber, he says, liquidity is now very precious and rare. I don't think so. But you want my cash, I want a very good deal. And I can wait indefinitely if I want. I don't know about that. You can wait indefinitely if you want. Okay, well, let's presume then you're renting and you're paying $2,600 a month for that one bed. Let's presume again that you've got the $175,000 down payment. You've been saving and you've got it ready to go here. For sure, I agree. I understand. You want the prices to come down and you're going to wait for that magical price. Now, again, you better know what that magical price is. Is that gonna be $775, $750, $725? What is? Or are you just going to keep waiting? Because remember, you're never going to time a bottom perfectly. There's always a lag there. In other words, the market will start going up before you realize that, 6 months ago, that was the bottom, and now the prices have come up. But the other thing is, keep in mind, being on the sidelines and waiting indefinitely like this guy says does have a cost. It does. You're living somewhere, so I assume you're going to be renting. Well, rents right now are at all-time historic highs, and they're going up. Every month right now, month over month, it is getting ugly. And that's if you can even find a quality rental in Vancouver right now. I'm seeing bidding wars where people are offering these units at $2,700 a month. You're getting people that are stepping in and saying, I'll give you a year's rent up front in cash, or I'll pay you $2,900 a month if you take me. It's getting pretty ugly. So you're paying that, let's call it, I don't know, $35,000 a year in rent, which is going down the drain. Also, it's never great to be on the sidelines for long periods of time in a normal market, let alone the current interest rate or inflation rate environment we're running in. We're in Canada right now, what are we at? 6.5%, 7%? So being in cash for long periods of time is trash. You know, you're losing 6, 7% annually here just due to inflation, the eroding power of inflation on your cash sitting on the sidelines. That's why I've talked about many times here. I am always in the market, 100%. The only money that I don't have in the market at any given time is my dividend income, which comes in a steady stream every month. Now, I have a large portfolio, so I'm generating well into 5 figures every month. Yes, you heard right, well into 6 figures annually just on my dividend income. Then I've got another that and then some on my clear rental income from my investment portfolio. So the only time I'm in any type of cash is maybe just like this past summer where I took about 6 weeks off. When I got back, I had a substantial amount, $20,000, $30,000 sitting in my brokerage account. But it doesn't take me long to put that money to work. As a matter of fact, my timing was good. Early September, there was a sell-off. I'm always seeing value, companies that are what I consider to be good long-term value. Disney, TD, National Bank, Johnson & Johnson. If there's nothing really sticking out, I'll just put it into the index, the S&P 500 or the VTI, which is, off about 18%. So I'm always in the market putting money to work. I always want to be in the market because what are your alternative for me to sell a $6 or $7 million portfolio, liquidate it, pay the tax man, and then hope to buy back in? It doesn't make any sense. If you have a $10,000 portfolio and you want to play around with it, well, go ahead, but you're dealing with peanuts there. So I'm always in the market, give or take a month here, a month there, or maybe if the markets are at all-time highs, I'll just let the cash build up for 3 or 4 weeks and then deploy it. But for the most part, I'm in the market because I want to keep that income coming in. The goose that's laying the golden eggs. I own the best of the best in American and US companies. They're paying me fat quarterly dividends, and in some cases, they're paying me a monthly dividend. I want those cash flows to keep coming in so I can redeploy them into more shares. So, stick with the program here, but if you want to wait for a better price, again, go ahead. But be careful. Remember, these days, what is going to be a cold bucket of water on pricing is going to be higher borrowing costs. So make sure you factor in the higher borrowing costs versus the potential lower purchase price. See where you're at with that. Set a strike price. Otherwise, you will be on the sidelines forever. Set a time limit. If you don't hit your price target, well, is it going to be 6 months, 12 months, 18 months? Because remember, there is a cost for being on the sidelines that a lot of people forget. You can't wait indefinitely. You're paying $35,000 a year to a landlord and getting nothing back for it. Your money is losing ground to inflation. Nothing wrong if you want to wait 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year. And again, I wish you the best of luck with it. All people always seem to think with this big land guy, of course he's pumping the tires on real estate, because if he doesn't, his business is affected. You're so far from the truth there. People that know me, know my business, I've been in this a long time. What the market does from buyer's market to seller's market has zero impact on my business. My business is always booming. As a matter of fact, when markets turn a little bit like they are right now, and sales volume goes down 20 or 30%, it doesn't affect me as a top 1 or 2% realtor. It does affect the lower tier realtors, the newer realtors that don't have established businesses. The other thing is when markets are really great, it's a seller's market. Homes are selling themselves, not to the full extent. You still want to be able to market it properly, price it properly, and then address those offers and how you do your holdbacks. There's a lot of skill involved. But, you know, those are the ones when the market's booming, I'll get my beer league buddy to sell. When the markets turn and they get into a buyer's market territory or low balance market territory, in my experience in the past, sellers are much more critical on who they're going to hire. They're not going to hire the beer league guy. They're going to hire a listing inexperienced pro like me to try and get them the best price. So it doesn't affect me where these markets go, and I'm not pumping the tires on the markets, and I never have. Buy your principal residence, enjoy it, keep it, and that's really the way you should do it. But if you want to time the market, you want to wait for a better opportunity, go ahead. But again, just take my suggestions here. Set a strike price, set a time limit, and make sure you keep an eye on where the price is in relation to the increased borrowing costs. Also, finally, what is the cost of being on the sidelines in cash? If you are, and again, what I find, just finally here, wrap it up. Most of the people I find that say, like this guy, I can wait indefinitely and I want a great deal, they are not in a position to buy a home. They are not pre-approved. They have no hope of getting pre-approved. And they're just missing one little, small little iota that they need, and that is the spare $150,000, $200,000, $250,000 down payment. And then, of course, have the income to be able to qualify with a big bank for the mortgage. It's incredibly difficult. It is a gauntlet. But it can be done. I've done so many video blogs on saving for the down payment. You've crossed it. That's the toughest part. Once you're in, you've got the down payment, you're qualified, you have crossed a huge financial hurdle in life. And that's why I suggest you do that sooner rather than later. But if you want to wait for a better window here with all the doom and gloom and the interest rate hikes coming, I wish you the best of luck. I sincerely do. But again, be careful. Match the prices to where your borrowing costs are going, what the difference is, and set a strike price, set a time frame. Be careful about being on the sidelines too long in a hot inflation economy. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.